in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 41 of the Tait Talks podcast. Today I am with Blake Richardson. How are you, mate?
Thank you for having me. So I'm very well.
You've had a big day, mate.
Well, I've had one of the smallest days.
You've had a big day
recent.
compared to me. All right, I got up like 9.
You've really lived today, Blake.
I watched the cricket.
I've left the house. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm alluding to.
I got dressed. I left the house. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been obviously it was a short day today. Just on the set.
Yes.
And I've arrived.
You're an actor. I should say that.
Oh yes,
That's
sorry.
all
Yes.
Yeah,
I should. The porn set.
Yeah, I should have. Started
Big
with,
day today, Tait.
yeah.
Oh, big day.
Took it all.
Multiple scenes.
Blake's an actor. You're an actor, mate. How long have you been doing this for?
I guess I would say that
In the world.
Yeah, I started. Well, I went to Whopper.
What is
straight
Whopper?
into name dropping? I went into the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts.
Yes.
In Mount Lawley. I went to that in 2016 and I graduated in 2017. So it was just over a year screen course. It wasn't the prestigious 3-year bachelor degree.
Oh.
Yeah, so I like to just
like, yeah, I
set
know.
the tone straight away.
You're like, I know it all.
Yeah. No need for 3 years, thank you. No need.
Naturally gifted.
I got you. 12 months will be enough. But no, I went there and then I sort of think that I was doing acting before that. I had a local agent in Perth and I was doing a couple of student short films and things like that. But I really think that I started in Whopper, I guess, because that was me spending money, going to a school to really learn how to do it. And that's when I kind of figured out what acting really was. Up until then, it was just sort of, I guess it's this.
Yeah. So did you find that going to Whopper actually, like studying, you learn a lot? Like are you an advocate for, like going to Whopper and these type of academy schools, I don't know, to learn?
Yeah.
Because you don't do it with... Oh, you also do comedy, I should say that. Like, that's how
I'm glad you've met.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
So you obviously there's no real comedy. There's a couple of workshops, but it's not intensive shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. But But you went and you studied to act and stuff. Like, it's interesting that there's a person on be like, I'm going to teach you guys how to act. And you're like, yeah, but don't I figure myself out?
Get ready for listeners to start vomiting. But learning how to act is learning how to not act,
Okay.
To not get in your own way. No, but look, man, I can't say that I'm an advocate. I was an advocate for me.
Yep.
It all depends on where you're at in your life, I think. And it all depends really, same with like comedy. It all depends on what you define as good acting.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you've got theater and you've got screen acting. And as much as they want to tell you that it's the same thing, it's not. It's a different medium.
Yeah.
And there are different kind of rules and rewards, So, I mean, I grew up on screen acting. I'm only 26 years old, so I grew up watching film. And although I really appreciate good theater, I want to be a film and TV actor. I love screen acting. That's sort of what drew me to it, So I guess my answer is, I think going to drama school and learning how to act can be good as long as you don't lose your individuality. I think a good drama school teaches you to double down on your individuality and teaches you to appreciate your own instincts and your own point of view. I'm not for drama school if you go to a drama school where they're like, these are the rules, this is the way it always is, forget everything you know. Who you are has no value. It's all about Shakespeare. Like, Shakespeare's great. But I'm saying it's like, you need to maintain your individuality and not get too in your head that there's too many rules. I imagine it'd be the same for comedy. If you get too in your head about like all these rules and all these things, then you just lose that magic. You lose that freedom. So I was very fortunate that the 1-year course, it wasn't enough time to sort of fall into this bubble of like, safety, I guess.
Yeah.
You only had enough time to sort of get a general outline of a few of the rules, and then you just sort of slot your personality into that and your point of view, and then you go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say.
With doing doing stuff at Whopper, is there like a resume? When you go for an audition, is there a resume and you're like, I studied at Whopper, blah, blah, blah. Do they look at that, or they go like, no, we just want to see what you can do. We don't care if you're a fucking security guard, barista, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you nail the role, you got the role.
The second one.
Okay.
In my experience.
Yeah.
Again, I can only speak to my experience, but no one gives a shit what you studied.
Yeah.
They care if you're good.
Yes.
So, I mean, look, there are probably some situations, and the biggest thing that going to Whopper does is it it impresses people who aren't actors. You know what I mean? They're like, you went to Whopper, you must be fantastic. And I'm like, that's why I'm frothing your coffee, Jan, because I'm a damn good actor. So it doesn't hold too much merit. So it all just sort of depends on, like how good you are and how right you are. The acting's such a fucking weird beast, man. There's so many variables out of your control, and Whopper doesn't hold as much pull as it does you being good, I guess, overall. That is the most important thing. And I think that people forget that so much. It's such a... People are like, how do I make... Because acting, it declares it at the door. A lot of things are, but it's such an uncertain career path. And it's like the identity of acting is it's in the very fabric of that. Like, oh, it's uncertain. It's uncertain. So it really puts you in this mindset of like, well, how do I figure it out? And that... It's normal, but if you let that run you just become this fear-based animal that's just making decisions based out of fear and like doing things that you don't want to do, but you think it's going to pay off. And that's why it's so dangerous for people who are not happy with who they are.
Yeah.
You
it's get coerced into
an
area that you don't want to do or don't believe in type thing.
And it's this is only by my definition of what good acting is. It's such a cruel irony. One of the cruelest ironies that I learned about acting was that on the surface, it looks like pretending to be other people.
Yeah.
Right. But, and this is only by my own definition, really, really good actors are just so good at being themselves that they trick you into thinking you're seeing someone else. Okay. It's about understanding who you are as a person, good and bad, all of it. And being so honest with how you would be in different situations, emotionally, with a different accent, with all this stuff, that you'll just see a character. Yeah. You know what I mean? But really, they're just being how they would be in that situation. Even though there's a script and there's all this stuff, it's like the instincts and how they would really react. And the stuff they're bringing to it is just they're being themselves. And that's the cruelest irony about acting. Because on the surface, it's this thing of you get to be someone else and escape. It attracts people who don't want to be them. And they don't like who they are, and they want to run away from that. And then you get to drama school, and it's sort of like, well, we have to go in and make peace and figure out who you are, because that's how we become good actors. And it's like, I don't want to do that. That's why I'm here. I want to be somebody else, you know? And I've seen it. I've seen people fall apart from that. I've seen people deny it, and they kind of stay bad actors. Or I've seen people kind of be like, you know what? That's not what I thought it was. I don't want to be an actor. And I respect the shit out of that too, So, but I mean, for me, the way I looked at it early on was, even if I don't make a career out of acting, if I put this work into understanding who I am as a human being and sort of making peace with the good and the bad and all that kind of stuff, it's not time wasted.
Yeah,
it's a good thing. Yeah, it's good work. It's going to help me in my relationships. It's going to help me in whatever job I end up doing. It's going to make me a better human, better friend, better lover. So. Yeah, that was it for me, But that is one of the cruelest parts. Is it's like, it does attract people who want to escape, and then it's like, no, it's about being you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't. I literally just I've never done any acting, and I would have thought it was like you're playing the character, not being like, Tait, we want you to be the psycho that you've always wanted to be, or how would you be a psycho?
Yeah, man.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. But as you say, that is the sick part.
Yeah.
That's the fun bit.
Yeah.
Is it's like,
how would I do this?
How would I do this? Yeah. And the thing is, good actors, in my opinion, again, I'm going to stop declaring in my opinion. Obviously, it's my opinion. Yeah. They are just themselves, and they bring their own, like the way that Tom Hardy plays a character is going to be very different to how, Jim Carrey plays a character. Yeah. But that's why they're stars, is because they know their thing. They have their thing, and what their thing is them and their instincts.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part, is it's like, you have to make peace with even the stuff that you have to let go of trying to look good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? Which
Done
again,
that.
Yeah.
Done that
Check.
years ago.
I threw that in the can a long time ago. But it's like, it's in every facet, you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to, man, especially with social media and shit, it's like, fuck, it's all about that. Looking good, like presenting the best part, your best foot forward, be likable. It's everywhere, and it's kind of natural. But that's what I love about acting. Good acting is when you comes to it, it's like, I mean, you see people in drama school trying to play a scene where they've lost their child, and they're also simultaneously trying to look good up there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like your kid just died, and they're like, "Do I look gorgeous up here while I'm crying?" You know, and you can see it. It's affecting that thing rather than just being truthful, man.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes the gross thing is. Sometimes the thing that's real is like it's not nice. You know, like for a bloke, for example, it might be like. Every guy likes to think that in a situation that's heated or confrontational, they're just going to be a beast. And I just fucking knock everybody out and I just fucking save the day and just be a legend. And it's like, you might run away.
I would. I've learned this from myself from a young age. I was 19.
Yep.
And I cut my finger with a Stanley knife and fainted.
Nice.
So I'm going to say that my days of fighting terrorists and, you know, being that guy are done. And
If they've got Stanley knives, you're out.
And I am grabbing the closest human shield as possible.
A woman, child,
Whatever.
multiple children.
A dog, whatever I need to. Whatever
An adorable little dog.
Whatever I can carry is pretty much.
Yeah.
But you are right. In your head, we all have this fucking shit. What would happen if something went down?
Oh fuck! You don't know me, bro. When shit hits, I see red.
Yeah.
And I'm just built different. You know what I mean? Trust me, man. You don't want to be in the room when I do that. So it's like, yeah. I guess there's that. You know, you got to be honest with how you'd be and be curious as to how you'd be, because maybe you would be great and maybe you'd be bad, but you got to have a value as to what would I be like?
Yeah.
What is the truth of this? You know, and knowing who you are as a person. Like, for instance, I have recently started booking work after years of sort of grinding away, and I'm starting to professionally work now, which is awesome. All villains.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All villains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all villain work.
That's so weird because like you are a very bubbly, personable person.
Thank you.
But they're like, no. We see you as a bad
you're a
man.
real piece of shit. Yeah. Well, it's like,
See
I mean,
that
I have a
baby punches.
particular look. Like I have, you know, I'm aware I have sharp features and I have
do,
very
yeah, you are fucking-
googly eyes. It looks like I was
gorgeous.
curious about a vacuum, and I was like, "What's in here?" You know, I always get compared to Rami Malek, you know, the guy that played Freddie
Yes,
Mercury.
yes,
They're like,
yes,
you know,
yes.
and it's purely because we have sharp features, and he's a googly man.
Yeah, but you
Much
look,
like I.
you look like you would snap him in half.
Oh, I'd kill Rami.
Yeah, you would.
I hope he's
If I
listening.
saw
Yeah,
red,
if
I'd
Rami
kill
here.
him.
One day in years, I hope he finds this. I'll fuck you up, Rami. No, but so look, it's just one of those things, you know. Even if I'm on, and it's how I sort of come across on camera. Even if I was in a soup kitchen, sort of serving soup to the homeless, they'd be like, "What has he done to that soup?" It's just my look, you know. Sometimes.
You got a
And-
very defined chin and stuff.
Bless you, sir.
you
Here's
just-
your $50 for saying that on the air. And
That's funny because the typecast
yes,
thing obviously exists. Like it's not that
sure.
in comedy.
For
Like,
sure.
You know, you can look however you want, and it's just like talk about whatever you want. But yours is
we
people-
don't accept that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, that's it. Pretty much. People are just like, no. This is acting, and it has to be believable. You know. So
Yeah.
and we judge. That's all fucking TV movies are. We are judging
Yeah.
a person's performance, which is pretty brutal. But at the same time, it's the job.
But the thing is, again, why do you want to do this? You know, I want to have my look and my instincts and my point of view serve the story
Yeah.
and help it, you know. And also, I should mention, I like playing the villain.
Okay.
I like it. It's a fun character. But look, generally, the
'Cause it's
villains
not
are the
you.
most but generally, the villains are the most three-dimensional characters. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you know, gone are the days where villains are just these maniacal dudes that have no morals and just like, ah. It's like, you know, a villain is a kind of a grey area. Even in the most sort of bland writing, the villain usually is the most fun to play. And you bring the most nuance to things. It's playing the overly morally good characters that are really hard because you're like,
You've got
what?
one
There's got to be
direction.
something.
Yeah,
Surely
yeah.
they like getting spanked or something weird, you know, there's something a little bit off, you know. So it is fun. And, you know, the first big professional thing that I booked was a movie for, well, essentially Netflix is, I think, they're moving towards. It's still in the can, and that was shot here in Perth. And I was it was like a romantic comedy.
Yep.
The lead was Eliza Taylor. She's one of the leads of The 100. I don't know if you watched that Netflix show, The 100.
I've not.
I'm sorry, Eliza.
Brilliant in
Sorry.
it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
fantastic.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was in that, and then it was like a romantic comedy, and I was playing the villain of that. So like a romantic comedy villain is very different to
So
obviously.
you're just the dick, or were you?
I was the dick, yeah, and I was
okay.
British in it, so I was British, and
Oh.
I'm like, you know, the guy that breaks up with her at the start of the film, and it's like, I'm sorry, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So that was fun. And then I recently did, I've just finished actually, which is what they shaved my head for, was Mystery Road season 3, which is an Australian drama. We shot it in Kalgoorlie. It's in its 3rd season.
Yeah.
And it's like a gritty, it's like a drama. It's a drama.
How
you know
long
what I mean?
did you? Was it just season 3 that you're in?
Yes. I mean, look, hopefully when the reviews come in, they'll book me for more seasons. But my character was just in this. It's basically the 3rd season. It goes back to the origin stories of the main character, Detective Jay Swan. So it's based in the 90s and all this kind of stuff. So wouldn't make a lot of sense for my guy to keep coming up unless they kind of keep it in the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
But look, it was a drama. My point was I'm playing a villain now in a like a proper drama, and I'm playing like a white supremacist. My head's shaved. It's very physical, which is a bit of a far cry from this fun, jerky salesman-looking British rom-com villain, but still villains in the same same essence. And I've gone for. It's funny. I was speaking to an actor on set, and he goes, "Is this something that you and your managers have sort of curated? You know, you talked about." You want to establish your range early on by picking these, but I'm like, no, dude, I go for everything.
No,
I go for it all.
I'm racist.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was auditioning.
Yeah,
I just came in
what are
just
those cameras
ranting
doing here?
at a coloured man that cut me off, and they gave me the role. But no, it's like I go for everything, you know, and I've always gone, and I do think that I do a good job of, you know, non-villainous characters as well.
Yeah.
It's just that these are the things that are popping early. And then hopefully, as it goes with acting, sometimes you can add a bit more flexibility to what you want to do down the line.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we just make light? Currently, you are wearing a wig.
I am wearing a wig.
And it looks
Correct.
super real.
Yes, sir.
It confused me because I saw you 2 weeks ago and I'm like, how the fuck is his hair grown back?
Ashley and Martin, my friends, they don't fuck around.
Response to the podcast.
Yeah. No, I am currently wearing a wig. Correct. Yes, I had to get it for this current thing that I'm on, which is a campaign for Blueprint Homes. I hope they don't mind me saying that. No, it won't, because they're using my face. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing a TV thing, and basically I booked the TV campaign the same day that I booked the TV show.
Okay.
And they were like, "We love it. You're great. You got this long, you know, sort of 90s curtains-y hair.
Yep.
It works." And then for the TV show, which shot first, they had to shave my head.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Nah, no good. You've lost the TV campaign." I was like, "Oh shit, that's, you know, that sucks." And then I have a friend who does professional wig making amongst many things. And I was like, "I've got a mate who does really good wigs.
Yeah.
Would that be a thing?" And they were like, "For sure." So then, they fitted the wig to me, man. And then we should mention that in Perth currently, it's just hit its hottest days, like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, if there was ever time to have a shaved head and not be wearing a silicone wig, it's these last 2 days.
So that bad boy, I gotta get it. Can I get a photo of it just to put it up on the?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I'll put it up on the YouTube video.
Please do.
Pop it up right now.
Yeah.
Now I'm just gonna 18 minutes in.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, no, like
It's real. It looks. It's real hair. It's real human hair.
It's crazy. It is. It like.
It's fucking
So you have to keep it on for.
I have to keep it until tomorrow afternoon, and then I will do a ceremonial burning of it.
Yes,
I'll pull it off me, and I'll stab it a bunch of times, and I'll burn it.
Is it annoying?
It is. Look, I should say that it's top of the line wigs, legitimate. This thing costs generally in market to get this done $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's for people who are like have got alopecia and are like balding and shit, and they'll pay whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's kind of extortion a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be bald? You're gonna pay $2,000. But you know, my mate sorted me out, and anyway, so it is top of the line. It couldn't get better, and it is actually fairly comfortable, but it is annoying wearing a wig. It's silicone. It's glued to my head.
Yeah.
You know, it feels weird. It's been really hot, like I mentioned, and I want to like cool myself down.
Yes.
It's like, it's just like wearing a condom in the shower. You know what I mean? It's like I can't get any feel in here.
Yeah.
Don't know why you'd wear a condom in the shower. So confused.
Whatever you actors get up to, I'm not gonna lie. But so you can't? Can you? You gonna put a hairnet on when you're having a shower?
No, I mean, look, again, it's pretty good. I mean, I washed it yesterday because it was so hot, and and I'm
these
getting
things are legit.
It's fucking legit, but it does feel weird. Like I'm getting used to it now, but for the first day, it felt like I was wearing a hat all the time, and then I'd wake up and I'm like, why am I wearing a hat? And then I'd be like, oh, it's a wig.
Yeah. Is your missus like, what the fuck is happening?
It's weird, man. She came because I only recently shaved my head for this role, and I loved it. Yeah, and it's sort of like, I mean, it was so freeing because as an actor, again. Sometimes, man, you can end up being this sort of, and I like to think I'm less than this than a lot of actors, but in your early career, you can become this blank canvasy, like I'll be anything.
Yeah.
And you keep your hair a certain way, and you don't want to be too specific and miss out on roles. Like you don't want to get tattoos, and you don't want to cut your hair really specifically, because then if you go for a role in the 1800s and you got a fresh fade, you're like, why is Unfortunately, they're not very imaginative.
Yes,
they're like, that looks like a man from 2021. That doesn't look, So you kind of sometimes lose a bit of your individuality, and you don't want to be too specific. But when I shaved the head for this TV role, I was like, now there's a specific man. That's a specific look. And I loved it. It's good for training, where I train and all this kind of stuff. And I just enjoy the look. I feel it just feels more me. And then when I threw the wig back on, it kind of was like going back in time.
Like Superman. So you're Clark Kent.
Right. And my partner was like, oh, like, yeah, it looks like the old you, And it's
the guy
weird
that
because
I used to love.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I feel her, now she kisses me, she is a little bit more excitement in it. It feels like she's cheating. She's like, oh, we can't let Blake find out. What are we doing?
Blake's non-evil twin.
Let me take you away from this. Shaved head Blake doesn't understand you like I do.
She'll just keep the... she'll just keep it.
I wake up in the middle of the night, she's putting it back on me. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I miss him. You're not the same, you bald freak.
I miss the good times.
Yeah, but she seems to like it. I'm getting used to it. It's another day. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I like the shaved head.
Yeah,
I'm getting back to it, especially for summer. It's 40 fucking degrees outside. I just want to get back to my little Lex Luthor look.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go real skin bald. For
yeah, go right down.
I can't remember how we got onto this tangent. But
sorry, I'm wearing a wig currently.
Yeah. We got. I remember that bit. But the issue is so you went from finished up with Whopper. You said that this year's probably been your most productive. So how do we get jobs? How do these jobs come about? I've always wondered.
Well, pay for my masterclass. Just 4 payments
and
of
that's
$49.
The end of the podcast.
$49.99. Only I can get you work in the industry. No, so look, man, there's no certain path. It's like now that I sort of have begun reflecting on it a little bit, like thus far, because again, it's sort of like you're swimming. You don't want to pop up and like look how you just keep breathing and moving until you're like, I'm quite far out. It's such I don't know why anyone would want to do it. You know what I mean? It's so, I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I'm sort of
invested
in it. Yeah, why would you want to do this? Yeah. It's so brutal, and I came out of drama school, and then you basically do a thing called showcase. And this is obviously all changed with COVID, but basically you get together these show reels, you shoot a scene with one other classmate, you pick and choose a scene, you shoot it professionally with a film crew.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, and and not every drama school does this, by the way, but a lot of the good ones do. Yeah. And then you take that footage and some headshots or whatever, and then the school kind of promotes you, and you take a trip to Sydney or Melbourne or even LA sometimes, and the school tries to help you get meetings with managers.
Yep.
Okay, and then and hopefully from that, which is not always, in fact, often it's not. Hopefully from that, the managers, you meet a manager that you really click with.
Yes.
And they like you and they sign you to their books, and then you kind of have a business partnership with them, and then they start trying to fight for you to get work. Okay? So that's the first step, getting a manager. And people sometimes hit a wall there. They come out of drama school, and depending on the climate, there's been this big push for diversity the last few years, people of color and minorities and LGBTQ plus IA2 community, which is, again, it's great for inclusion, but like you said, anytime there's a focus in any casting sphere, it suddenly all the books and the way that managers want to sign changes. You know what I mean? Like if you're a handsome white straight dude, they probably have that already.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, Tait, you'd struggle right now, my friend. But you know what I mean? Like suddenly that's not what's in right now, and they struggle to sign. So there's so many variables again that are out of your control. But hopefully it happens. What happens to me is that you come out of drama school with 0 credits, and you meet a great manager, and you click straight away, which is what happened. And my manager, Clinton Brian Matheson, based out of Sydney, I took a bunch of meetings. And I met with him, and I just felt that click. Same as it's kind of weird to compare it to, because we rarely make love, my manager and I, but it's like dating. It's like dating. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like it either clicks or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it just clicked. We just kind of got each other's personality, and we just kind of we were just sort of riffing. And I didn't know, it was good that I didn't know, but he's a bit of a baller, in the industry. He has a lot of influence in the US in terms of, for an Australian manager.
Yeah.
He is very. modern minded, I guess. Like he's all that stuff. So it was probably the best business move to sign with him, but I signed with him purely based off the fact that one, he would have me, and two, that we really got along. And then hopefully that happens to everyone. A lot of people sign to managers that they don't get along with on a personal level, which is completely normal, but they, it's purely a business relationship. But I've been very, very lucky with that. And then hopefully from there, you've got a manager that doesn't just let you sit in the shadows and not do anything for you. They have to start hunting for work for you.
So can you hunt, like once you get management?
Yes.
Are you allowed to go out on your own and look for what? You're like, hey, I saw that they're filming fucking the new Guardians of the Galaxy up in the Gold Coast, whatever it is.
They want me.
Yeah.
Surely they want me.
Yeah, can you be like, hey, is there any chance, do you have any sway to get me as an extra, whatever it may be?
You'd be a great actor, Tait. I'm already picking up the vibes. You've got what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I think so. Like, again, I can only speak to my experience with my manager, who's been awesome right from the beginning. But like, I used to do it all the time. Now I kind of let him do his thing. He gets me fucking a lot of auditions, so I'm like, you can actually stop this a bit, like I'm busy.
Yeah. I'm shaving my head, all right?
Yeah.
You want a skinhead rolls? I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I used to hit him up and be like, man, I've got this, I heard this project's going. Anything in there for me? And like, he was probably already across it, and he was like, that's cute. He's like, yeah, I'll have a look for you. But it was actually a story very early on. I came out of drama school. I'd probably been with him for a couple of months. And I heard about this project that was shooting for Amazon called The Boys. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes.
Great show, right?
Yeah.
It was when it was first sort of like the whispers were around and blah, blah, blah. And I'd met a guy, Tait with a guy, and he sort of was like, oh, you should probably, I heard there's this audition going around. There's this role for like this fish man, and you look like a fish. So you'd be good with it. And it's like supposed to be physical. You kind of got like a superhero-y look. You'd be good for it. So I did exactly what you said. I messaged my manager and said, hey, I heard about this big show. Anything in there for me? And he was like, I'll have a look for you. And no joke, probably
like,
a power
move.
Fish
boy.
Yeah, all right, fishy. Calm down, Nemo. So he sent me an audition within like an hour, real power move. And he's like, I got you one. And I'm like, ooh. So I put this tape down, doesn't go anywhere. And then he comes back maybe, I don't know, a week or two later. He goes, they've got another role. They're giving that role to Chase Crawford.
Yes, I know who that is.
Yes.
Because I've seen the show.
And he did Gossip Girl, and he had a little bit more of a profile than me at the time, I will say. Handsome devil.
He gets his gills
He does a great. He does. Yeah, he's great in that role. And they said that this is another one for the first season, Translucent, the invisible guy.
Yeah.
And they were like, have a go at that. And
you look invisible.
You look. Yeah. No one wants to see you, dude. So I went up for that, and I just again naively put down a tape, and I did a tape, whatever, and then basically the casting director out of LA, who's this big casting director, and again, you got to bear in mind, I'm a literal nobody. Like
yes.
I
know that.
Zero. Yeah. We knew. Yeah. No need.
That's why you're on the podcast.
No need to disclaim. No need to. You telling me this isn't going to launch me?
Yeah.
No need to disclaim that. But he replied and was like, "This kid's great. It was really funny." And my manager and him went back and forth a bunch and sort of was like tossing up, taking it further, and then eventually they're like, look, we have to go older. We're going with an older guy, but he was great. And that put me on his radar, and he's since auditioned me for a bunch of stuff, and I've gotten like lots of callbacks and actually some work from just that one tape, which started with me being like, hey, can you get me a role for this? And so ultimately that mentality can work with the right manager. You know what I mean? Some other managers might be like, hey, listen, I find the work. You fucking just sit there and look pretty, all right?
Yeah.
So no, you can for sure. But
that's cool.
It doesn't always go like that.
Can I just, and I don't want to get into specifics, but
please,
when you get a manager or an agent or whatever they're called, how do you work out, like, does he just go, or she just go, listen, I take X amount?
No, there are legal limits in place.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't know the exact things, but basically the most any managers can ever take from you is 20%.
Okay.
So, and it varies. So like, I think TV commercials can be like 15%. I don't know the laws, but there are laws in place.
So what have you done in the terms of, have you done TV commercials, you've done films, you've done, like, what have you been across now?
The thing this is my first real TV commercial that I'm doing right now with the wig.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've done a feature film, done a bunch of short films. I did a guest role in a TV series, which is like you're in it for one episode and you're out.
Yeah.
And then I did this Mystery Road, which was like you're a series regular on like on a mini series, TV series. So I've been across kind of I guess all of them.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, and I've tried them all. So they're all Sorry, go.
Enjoy anything more than the others, or just enjoy being on screen?
I like working.
Yeah,
I like a working better than Froth and Jan's extra hot almond latte. But no, it's, I guess the more time you have to, I mean, that's what sort of why I think one of the reasons why streaming services are so big is because you have mini-series now. You have 6 hours to tell a story as opposed to 2.
Yes.
With a feature film, it's 2. You got to cram it all in. You know what I mean? With, say like all these mini-series like the Ozarks and just, I mean, you name it, you've got it, like you've got hour-long episodes to really tell a detailed, nuanced story.
Yeah.
So from an acting perspective, that's more tempting because you don't feel like you have to cook it all the time with these. I really got to hit these moments to show the journey of this character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, this episode, I can just be more real. And it's going to take care of itself because there's 6 hours worth of storytelling to get through and the audience will come with me.
Yeah.
So I do, it all comes down to the writing, man. It all comes down. I like films. I like working on films. I just like ultimately my instincts being used. I just like my skills and what I bring to a character, that being useful for telling the story.
Yeah.
So I mean, on this Mystery Road, one of the biggest compliments I had when I went up to finish the last sort of block of shooting, they'd had like a little mini screening on set. They kind of cut together a rough cut and I wasn't there for it. But they showed, one of the scenes they showed was basically like a bigger scene for my character. And the producers and some of the other actors were like, dude, it's great.
It's like, you really killed that person.
You look like such a racist, man.
Yeah.
How did were you improvising those slurs?
Were you from American History X? Like,
yeah, and it was.
Did you bring your own curb?
Just laying it down quickly. Buy this for me. Yeah. But it was a huge compliment of like, not that you did good.
Yes.
But like it works.
Yeah.
Your look and the way that you played that scene, it really plays for the story that you are this just piece of shit.
You played the shit out of that Nazi, man.
Yeah, and that's... Mama will be so proud to hear. Mama will be so proud to hear. But it's like... It is that thing of like... For me, the greatest compliment is you have done this story service.
Yeah.
Sounds very wishy-washy, but it's the truth. It's like... This story is better for having you in it. If we got someone else in, I don't know how it would be. What you brought to it was so important and it's really worked. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because that is the most fulfilling part. And no one can take that from you. Even if the project ends up like shit, it's like you were good in it. You did your thing.
Yeah.
You got to do your thing. So, yeah.
So with all that type of, you said you're filming that and you've done some other stuff, feature film and stuff. Do you get to, are you like, because I'm in this, I've signed the contract, I can now use this footage as your show reel?
Yeah. You get a bit of that. Some actors still do show reels. I think I'm very fortunate because the way my manager works generally is that he never sends me up for stuff until recently. I'll get into that I don't want to go for. You know what I mean? Like it's always well within my wheelhouse. Like I'm like, I know I can do a good job. This is actually a project I want to be a part of. I'm very lucky like that. So generally, and because he actually allows me to showcase my range, like I said, I can do villain stuff, I can do character stuff, I can do comedy stuff, I like to think, on camera. So I do have a bit of a range. So if another role comes up that he knows, oh, Blake's done something like this, he'll send them that tape.
Okay.
And then they'll be like, oh, he is good. He can do this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to... let me send you a professional scene from a movie that he did. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in the long term that will be a thing, but I guess it's a long-winded answer saying yes, you can use the footage.
Yeah.
But to what usefulness it is though is up in the air. It's more of just like a compilation-y thing for you to look at and show your range to the aunties and the uncles.
Yeah.
Look what I've been in just to get them off your back.
Yeah, like I am working. Fucking
Doug.
Look
at me. Yeah, Doug.
Fuck.
How do you know he's no? You know Doug? So yeah, you can use the footage, and it does help behind the scenes. I'm sure it helps. The reality is with acting, it rewards momentum. When you start getting the ball rolling and you're popping, it helps.
Yeah,
it helps a lot. So yeah.
I think we're gonna end it there, mate. On the part 1, we're gonna have you back in 2 seconds.
Let's do it.
Part 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 41. Obviously, tune in for the next one or don't, or just Live the
Do it.
dream. God bless.
Do it.
Yeah, we'll see you next week here. Gorgeous, gorgeous people.